It is time now for the Roundtable. And as always, Koby has joined me in the studio. But joining us for the very first time, and we are very excited to welcome him, is a.k.a. Seungjun, former basketball player. Welcome, Seungjun.
Oh, thanks for having me on today.
Thank you so much for coming in. We are very excited and happy to have you.
She's excited. I'm not.
I'm excited.
Okay,
You're the
I'm
most
glad you go.
excited, Koby.
I'm glad you go.
No, our entire staff is very excited as well. We have some contributors and reporters coming in, especially today, to say hello and to welcome you into the team as well.
No, I'm excited. Thanks for having me on today.
How do you feel?
I feel great. It's nice. It was a little cold outside, but yeah, it's a good morning.
First time on radio?
I think actually the second time here. I came with Koby last year, I think one time.
Oh, it's not your first time.
But it's kind of like my first
I
time.
interviewed him last time. Sorry.
First time on Life Abroad, that's what matters. Okay, so to ease us into our discussion, I'm going to ask you a very easy question, which is, what's your favorite movie of the year? Koby, you want to go first?
I'll let the guest go first.
Oh,
time,
how
right?
very gracious.
You know, in my heart, I want to say it's Frozen 2, but I haven't seen it yet. So I think
Well,
after
no, you can't say that then.
I can't?
Only
Okay.
movies that you've actually seen, Seungjun.
But
That's
knowing
the
you,
rule.
it will be your favorite movie. of the
It
year.
will be my favorite movie after I see it.
Right.
Big fan of Frozen 1?
Oh my God, the biggest fan ever.
Wow.
He always sings that snowman song.
Oh, no.
Like, yeah.
Okay.
It's
Well,
one
it's
of my
better
favorites.
than Let It Go.
Yeah, we don't let things go.
They're all classics.
Okay. So of the movies you have seen, I assume you've seen a couple.
I have. I think the most recent movie I saw was the Rambo movie, the Last Blood. But I don't know if it
A
was the best movie of the
cinematic
year.
classic, right?
And would you recommend it as one of the best you saw?
I think for people who like the series, I think it's very nostalgic because they reference like the first couple movies. So I think if you like the series, you'll enjoy this one. But
Did you?
it was underwhelming.
Because I'm having a little trouble putting the two together. You love Frozen, the Frozen franchise, and then you went and saw Rambo.
Right.
So you
The
were
human
underwhelmed.
soul is very complicated.
It
you
is.
know?
It's a.
Well, it's good to stretch your boundaries. Okay. Koby?
The comments that we had, I saw Kim Ji-young born 1982. That was good, and Parasite was really good. But
Very-
I think I'll have to go with the Joker.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if personally I liked it a lot, but it was a really good movie. Like the acting was really good and it was interesting, and a lot of people commented on it, and it was I kind of liked it overall. I think especially for that kind of genre of superhero or animated characters like that we're kind of used to is very different. So
A
I thought
lot
it
of
was
people
unique.
were saying that it made them feel depressed. They actually said the same thing about Parasite. You feel depressed about the state of the world by watching Parasite, but then you feel good about the movie industry and how much diversity
Yeah.
there is. I don't know if you felt the same about Joker. It's supposed to make you feel depressed. A lot of people wouldn't see it because of that.
No, I mean I don't know. I have a pretty negative view of the world anyway, so I see that I'm like, wow, what an uplifting
There you
movie there, right? Like there is some redemption there in people. No, but no, I don't know. I don't think it was that bad. And the same thing with like the Parasite movie. I wasn't that depressed either. Like I think you kind of. That's the way the world is, right? So I
Yeah.
think it's kind of nice sometimes that the movie industry is shedding light onto that and making sure that it's not just always rosy Frozen movies, right? So,
Right.
Rosy Frozen
Rosie
movies?
Frozen.
Rosy Frozen.
I just wanted to read one message before we actually dive into our topic, because 2126 wrote in and said, "Hey, Koby and Eric," which is the English name for Seungjun, I guess. "You guys enjoying radio? Hello, DJ Seungjun. Hello. Maybe I understand about 10% of what you say. Haha. Today is my 10-year wedding anniversary. Please congratulate us. Enjoy and have a nice weekend, guys." Well, congratulations.
Congratulations.
10 years.
Happy.
Yes, have a great anniversary. Hope you do
Yes.
something special. Don't let the cold get you down.
And don't worry, I only understand about 10% of what Eric says too, so it's all good, right? I don't think it's like...
All right, you've joined the medium. Yes, 10% is good. Now, today's topic, I think, is really relevant, though, and one that's quite important for a lot of people, not just big foodies like myself. You want to sort of give us the introduction, Koby?
Yeah, so it's like, how do we decide what restaurants to eat at, right? And I guess ratings are a popular way of evaluating many products and places, including restaurants. And one of the most popular and prestigious rating system is the star system used by that famous guidebook. I don't know, can we mention it? But but we know what it is. I
from
think.
a tire company.
Yeah, from a tire company, my favorite tire company. But many restaurants and chefs kind of dream of getting these 1, 2, I think even 3 stars,
Yes.
right? And even the lesser known designations like the bib or the plate. But recently there's some controversy around the designations and the selection process, especially in Seoul.
Right.
So a local chef, she filed a complaint alleging fraud against the local branch of this famous guidebook. And the chef claims that rather than being selected transparently and based on kind of fair criteria, that there's some corruption in the selection process. And even that some of the designations are awarded because of bribery. So she wants the company to show that the selection process was fair. And the company itself, they're denying the allegations, of course, and they said that they'll seek legal action against her. So it's kind of a back and forth thing. But before we go to into our discussion about ratings and rating systems, I kind of like to ask you guys first about your experience with this kind of particular rating system of these stars. So have you guys been to these starred restaurants? And do you look for restaurants that have received awards and recognition? Or how do you feel about this?
Well, I'm going to pose a question first to our guest. Yes. Eric.
So, I've traveled quite a bit, and I've had a chance to eat at some of these
starred restaurants.
Some of these starred restaurants, because it's typically like fine dining.
Is this like a humble brag?
Not
Absolutely,
so humble, I don't
absolutely.
think.
So I've actually been to like one of these restaurants. Like, you know, I've seen them around and whatnot, and the presentation and all these things. I think it kind of depends what you're going for. But to be honest, I still went to McDonald's after I got done eating there. So like, it was kind of like the experience and what the guidebook kind of showed. I was like, if I still felt hungry afterwards, I don't know if it was worth all the hype.
Okay, but just to be on the fair side, you are taller than the average person. So perhaps, if I'm not presuming too much, you would maybe require more food
Also
to feel
true.
satiated.
We don't
Also
assume
true.
on this show.
We assume.
That's right.
Okay.
No, but I mean,
So I guess underwhelming, in terms of the portion of the food. But how about the entire experience or the taste of the food? Was it all you expected?
Like, I think the experience, like, this was a restaurant that I went to abroad in Macau. And I mean, the chef came out, the presentation, the experience was very romantic, very classic style restaurant. You could tell that the food was prepared very beautifully. So all these things were definitely worth it. But yeah, I mean, just the amount of food.
The quantity of the food.
So I think
was
at that
the
time I was quite
problem.
hungry.
Okay.
So it was, yeah.
I have actually been to a restaurant. It was it still is actually one of my favorite ones here in Korea, fine dining. But I had visited before it received its star. But I was thinking, if a Korean restaurant receives a star, this restaurant should receive it. So I was very happy to see that it actually received it. I think it now has 2 stars. So I felt it was completely worth it.
Wow.
Usually, because it is fine dining, we can't mention, we can't pay for these experiences usually. So it's kind of above, I think, the normal person's experience. But the bib or the plate that you mentioned, those do serve as a guide for me when I'm searching for new places to have a dining experience. I will use them as a guide. Do you not?
No, I usually, when I see that it's received the bib or the plate, then I usually assume like it's not, I'm going to be disappointed. That's been my experience,
Really?
right? Like a few of the places that I kind of eat at regularly, well, there's one, so I don't want to make enemies here, that was really good. But there are a few of the other ones that I've gone to, I'm like, whoa, that got something? Like how,
Yes.
right? So I don't know. I think kind of my palate is maybe not the fine dining palate. So maybe what these inspectors are kind of rating is good is not in line with what I think is good. So.
Well, taste is very subjective, is it not? And especially that these, the Star, the tire magazine, they're notorious for the very secretive process. You know, they never announce when they come, the inspectors. They do have, I believe, transparent sort of criteria on which they rate their stars in the restaurants.
Right.
But other than that, it seems to be rather secretive.
Well, there was that one movie, right, Chef or whatever, and they went through the whole process, and then you see
exactly.
that, and you're like, wow, how does anyone ever get a star or anything,
Okay.
right? So.